Coming up tonight, guess which city is no longer the most expensive to live in?
Robinsons hasn't seen the last of its woes. Creditors still owed $32 million.
And local singer JASMINE SOKKO breaks into the MANDO-POP industry.
This is the Straits Times News Night. I'm Chia Suen.
I'm Dylan Ang. Great to have you with us this Wednesday evening. Now, the saying goes, to err is human. Well, errors were found at the Civil Services Human Resources and Payroll IT systems. As a result, 3,000 civil servants will get $10 million in compensation. Most of the errors were related to inaccuracies in the full-time national service records of civil servants. The Public Service Division said that the errors arose primarily because of human errors in data entry and coding of the HR and payroll IT systems.
It's the #1 position that many here are glad to lose. Today, Singapore slips in the global ranking for the world's most expensive city. The place we call home now sits in 4th place, according to a survey by the Economist Intelligence Unit. And from the table on your screen now, you can see the honour goes to Zurich, Paris and Hong Kong. The main reason for the current standing is due to a weakened US dollar caused by the coronavirus pandemic. It has made the euro and Swiss franc rise against the greenback.
More than 440 creditors may not be able to sleep easy as they are owed at least $31.7 million by department store giant Robinsons, which is closing down its last 2 stores here. Mattress companies such as Simmons, Sealy, Serta and Tempur are among the 442 creditors listed as of October 29. Others include cosmetic brands such as Estee Lauder, Elizabeth Arden and Clarins. Liquidator Corda Mentha said those who are owed money have up to November 25th to submit their proof of debt to a creditors meeting to be held the next day.
On to the COVID-19 situation here. The streak continues with no locally transmitted cases for the 8th day in a row. All 5 new cases were imported and had been placed on stay-home notices upon arrival in Singapore. If you know of anyone flying into Singapore, you may want to tell them this. Inbound travellers can now buy COVID-19 travel insurance. AIG, Chubb Insurance and HL Assurance will provide at least $30,000 in coverage for COVID-19 related medical treatment and hospitalization costs in Singapore. Currently, inbound travellers have to pay the full cost of medical treatment, test and isolation if they become infected here. Moving on to other headlines sparking conversations today. The Corrupt Practices Investigation Bureau has warned about fake documents circulating on WhatsApp claiming to be from the agency.
These documents say bank accounts of individuals, companies and third parties will be frozen within 24 hours for investigation into suspected money laundering offences. They will then be asked to pay a fine. CPIB have advised members of the public to be on the lookout for telltale signs, such as spelling errors or incorrect grammar in the fake documents.
A woman who repeatedly abused her family's Indonesian domestic helper has been sentenced to 10 months and 2 weeks jail. Nur Odadi Yusof tormented Ms. Sulis Setiawati multiple times between January and April 2018, where she slapped her face and pulled her hair. The abuse prompted Ms. Sulis to flee by climbing down 15 stories through a balcony.
Breaking into global markets today, local singer-producer JASMINE SOKKO releases a MANDO-POP EP online. The 25-year-old, who was the first Singaporean artist to win the MTV European Music Awards for Best Southeast Asia Act in 2019, will be releasing her 6-track EP worldwide with Warner Music China. SOKKO speaks to NEWsnight about how it feels to represent Singapore on a global stage and what it's like launching an EP in the midst of travel restrictions.
I would say the best part of doing that is having the opportunity to collaborate with different artists across different countries. Ideally, I really want to do a live performance, live shows, having audiences interact and throw their energy back at me. But because of this COVID and because of the travel restrictions, there's no way for me to be in China. So I just got off a live stream actually of like performances, and it's been interesting in a way that you kind of feel like more intimate with each fan, but at the same time, like you also miss the collective energy of everyone being in front of you.
Over in sports, something to note, basketball fans, the NBA have announced format tweaks for the 2020-2021 postseason. The shortened season tips off on December 22nd, with each team playing 72 games rather than the traditional 82. The biggest challenge? The new method for determining the top 8 postseason teams from the Eastern and Western conferences. Instead of the top 8 teams automatically advancing to the playoffs, NBA plans to play a mini-tournament between teams placed from 7th to 10th in order to determine the 7th and 8th seeds.
And in case you missed it, a Tibetan social media personality was suspected to have been attacked while live streaming. She later died from her injuries. Lamo, a Tibetan farmer in southwestern China who had about 200,000 followers, lived her life mostly outdoors and shared it online, posting videos of herself cooking, singing and picking herbs in the mountains around her village.
One evening in September, over 400 of her followers were watching as Lamo streamed a video live on Douyin, the Chinese version of the TikTok app. Suddenly, a man stormed in and Lamo screamed. Then the screen went dark. When Lamo's sister Doma arrived at the hospital a few hours later, she found Lamo struggling to breathe, her body covered with burns. Lamo's ex-husband, who was also severely burned, is being investigated on suspicion of homicide. And that wraps up the Straits Times News Night. Do visit straitstimes.com to see more news and videos.
You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the button below. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow.